At 10 o'clock this morning, Transworld Sport. Now we join Derek Thompson and the Channel 4 racing team for the morning line.
Good morning. It's a classic day on this, the Classic Channel, and nobody knows more about riding classic winners than my special guest this morning, Lester Piggott. 30 British classic successes, and he's won the 2,000 Guineas 5 times, including on the great Triple Crown winner, Nijinsky, in 1970.
With a quarter of a mile to go as they run down into Zip. It's Nijinsky coming through almost on a tight rein from Yellow God on this side, then Amber Rama, then Huntercombe. Joshua running on strongly on the far side. They're coming up the hill out of the dip now, and it's Nijinsky from Yellow God, but no danger whatever to the favourite. Just having to be shaken up. Nijinsky from Yellow God, Amber Rama, Roi Soleil running on, might be third at the post. Nijinsky's the winner. Yellow God second, Roi Soleil third.
Enjoyed watching that again. Yeah.
It was great that day, wasn't it?
It was smash. You pulled off the double, 1,000 and 2,000 Guineas, and nobody's ever done it since.
Yeah, that's right. And the filly one even easier.
Really? Yeah. It must have been a great thrill to ride Nijinsky, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, he was terrific. The first part of that year,
Listen, we're not going to dwell on looking back. We're going to look ahead today. But you've been riding out. The fog is thick. What's it like riding out this morning?
Well, it's bad. They wouldn't race at the moment.
They wouldn't race?
No.
Right. So we could have doubt. Anyway, more from Lester later. But I've also been joined by Britain's top form expert, Jim McGrath. He was worried there. Here's what I was going to say.
I thought it was
Well, I've got to introduce Franks as well. Are you in good form as well?
I haven't been to bed yet. I've never been to bed.
To bed, so that means he's in good form. But, as Lester was saying, there is fog here. Let's check out the conditions outside the old weighing room here at Newmarket. Look at that fog. Well, there are two non-runners. First of all, the non-runner in the 2,000 Guineas resists the force. Got kicked yesterday, does not run. Green Dollar doesn't run in the 440. No reported hazards. But I tell you what, there are roadworks south of Newmarket. If you're coming from London, getting off the M11, I'd leave a little bit earlier. And, of course, with this fog around, well, it's due to clear by late morning, and I hope it does, because the Phonic is due to fly in from France into Cambridge Airport at 10 o'clock this morning. But the news is that he has been delayed 1 hour. So the favourite for the 2,000 Guineas has not even left France yet. So there are doubts. This fog is due to clear, we understand, round about 11 or 12 o'clock. Well, it's D-Day for the Phonic. It's also D-Day for Big Mac, because ever since this horse won last year in the Dewhurst, he's been really shouting for this horse. So is he a wonder horse, or will he follow in the hoof prints of the French favourite for Thursday's 1,000 Guineas and be beaten? What are the tipsters going for? Big Mac.
Well, the press are absolutely divided for and against the Phonic. So it's interesting to see those who know and those who don't. Among those who don't, in the sporting life, Frank Carter, Chadleworth can end the Phonic dream. In the Times, Richard Evans, Emperor Jones to provide the upset. Surprisingly, Richard Bearline, Wolf each way looks best value of the Abdullah runners. I think Pat Eddery would laugh at that. In the Sun, Barra Boy, going for Barathea. That's Nick Fox. You've got something to say about that, Jimbo?
Well, the Sun last week, after he got beaten in the Craven, there was a headline as big as that saying Lucas Wheelbarrow. So there's a big change there.
Things have changed for different writers on the Sun, I suppose. In the Independent, Richard Edmondson, Barathea, the classic value. And in the Sporting Life Naps table, 7 hacks, unbelievable. The best bet of the day to beat the Phonic. They nap different horses, 7 hacks, and only 1 naps the Phonic. It's quite incredible, isn't it? So straddling the two camps is John Garnsey, Wimp or Wonder Colt. He just does come down, the Phonic ready to justify the hype. What hype, I ask you? And in the Racing Post, it has to be the Phonic. Diarmid, absolutely sensible there. As you would expect, the professional trainer Jack Berry. So super's the Phonic. In the Mirror, Charlie Porkers, though they're without a supplement, Charlie Porkers writes, Sonic's the Phonic. In the Mail, Colin Mackenzie's the Phonic to lift the classic. Fog could be the danger to the Barbara horse. It is the only danger to the Barbara horse. In the Telegraph, the Phonic to settle lingering doubts in the 2,000 guineas. That's Hotspur J. McGrath, the racing hack of the year. And finally, in today, the best headline of the lot, the Phonic by a street. It'll be one-way traffic for France's Guineas Ace. That's Henry Rick. And that, gentlemen, is how it will go.
Thank you, Big Mac. Well, now let's try and find who is going to win this afternoon's 2,000 guineas. There are now 14 runners chasing a first prize of £110,000. These are the full list who have battled it out this afternoon over the straight mile. Number 1 is Barrassier, the mount of champion jockey Michael Roberts. 2 is Benageois, Bruce Raymond, 49 years of age, still looking for his first classic. 3, the strongly fancied Chattelworth, from last year's winning stable, John Reed rides. 4, Emperor Jones, winner of the Craven, Ray Cochrane. 5, INCHINOR, Frankie Dettori. Number 6 is Ivory Frontier, Big Hope of Ireland, Christy Roach. 7, Nominator, one of the long shots, Willie Rhymes. 8 is Pembroke, the mount of Woody Carson. 9, Petardia, blinkered for the first time, Michael Hill. 10 is a non-runner, that's Resist the Force. Number 11 is Revelation, worked well the other day. Irish jockey Warren O'Connor comes over to ride. 12, Right Win, Richard Quinn. 13, Silver Wizard, ridden by the Silver Wizard, Lester Piggott. 14, Wharf, Walter Swinburne. And carrying the first colours of Khalid Abdullah, number 15, Zaphonic. And he is the warm favourite, and the way he pulverised the best in Britain on his last trip to Newmarket, and that was the Dewhurst last October.
Zaphonic starts to stride through on the second from the right of the picture, and look at this horse go. He's come to share the lead now. Zaphonic in the lead from Subuk. Fatherland's after him, trying to get there, and it's Zaphonic now as they race down into the dip. Zaphonic edging over to the centre of the track. Subuk and INCHINOR behind, and then Firm Bled. Fatherland's in pursuit now, but it's Zaphonic that's got into the lead, cleared by 2, beating a class field, and coming away from them as they race up towards the line. It's the Lord of the Manor, Zaphonic, clear up towards the line. Zaphonic absolutely annihilates the field.
That was last October. Jim, if he reproduces that today, he'll annihilate today's field, won't he?
Yeah, look, I couldn't see anything touching him if he's in that sort of form, yeah.
How good a 2-year-old was he, Lester? I mean, you've ridden, you've seen some great 2-year-olds, but there's no guarantee that they'll train on.
No, well, he was a great 2-year-old, and everything's in his favour today, the ground and everything. But he's got to get the distance, and is he as good as he was?
Let's have a look at the race that he had in France a few weeks ago, his prep race at Maison Lafitte. This was the Prix-Jebel. He was long odds on here, but Jim and John, he struggled.
Well, the bottom line is how's he done from 2 to 3. Physically, you'd expect him to improve. He's an enormous 2-year-old. And this ground didn't suit him, we all know that, but he'd won on pretty soft growing in France previously, and it's just a question, really, of mental attitude. I mean, he pulled quite hard early on in this race, and it's just a question of how he's done. I know that Pat's always said he was always liable to, just get a little bit hot.
I think you can allow him this one defeat, bottomless ground. Should we forget about that run, Lester?
I think so, it should be a lot better today, really.
Yeah, and Pat's very keen, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh.
You see, if you looked at the form book from last year, and you saw the Jebel, he won not the Jebel, the Morny. He won that from Sacrage and Marina Park, and he didn't look, it was a nice-looking horse, but he didn't look a good horse that day. He was sort of off the bit a long way out, and he gradually wore them down. It was when he got on faster ground,
Did he really?
time, against similar types of horses, but he settled them in stride and then confirmed that here.
We're all in agreement that he'll take the beating today. Yeah.
If he's in that form.
If he's in that form. Now, the only problem is, of course, he's not much of a price. So let's see if we can find a horse to beat him. The best British trial is normally the Craven Stakes. Now, it was run here a couple of weeks ago, and 6 out of the first 7 home take each other again. Now, there they are. There are plenty of them. Before we roll it, let's just pick up, if you want to have a look at your fancy today, a lot of tips going around for Chattelworth. Wharf I like very much as well, but it was Emperor Jones, Jim, on this occasion, who came out on top.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of admirable things you can say about any number of these, but going into the race, there was only one pattern race winner in it, and that was Wharf. Svante Castrifoli's not even taking his chance today. He's going to Italy for the Italian Guineas tomorrow, and ultimately, there was half a dozen horses within 3.5 lengths. Now, Leicester Road Redden, he's beaten and eased him up in a race at Sandown last week where the distance should have suited him, and he couldn't get anywhere near the likes of Placerville, and if you tie in yesterday's classic form with that, Tenby, through Jim Bolger's horse, it looks a load of rubbish.
A load of rubbish?
Yeah.
Oh, Lester, what do you think? Do you think it's a load of rubbish?
Well, they can't all be good.
What do you think?
Were there any excuses for Redden at Sandown?
No.
No. So you don't think that Craven form is good enough?
I wouldn't say that, you know, but I think a lot of them will improve. Today, I think Worf, you know, is a good, it's way better, really.
Which one?
Worf.
Wolf. If he's come on a lot for that.
Yes, he's improved a lot.
Yeah.
And he's a good horse, you know, he hadn't run since July last year. And,
First run great one.
I think he'll come on a lot for that race. You know.
Tell you another horse that's fancied from that run is Chappleworth. Now, Peter Chapelheim was over at the stables this morning. Bruff caught up with him over there in the early foggy hours and asked him how much Chappleworth has come on at home since that run.
Well, when I got him back, I sort of woke him up a bit. I'd been very easy on him, obviously, with his leg and everything. And we woke him up, and really, this week he really has come to himself, and he really is. I think he's in top form. He's in great form. He really is.
What sort of horses do you work with? What sort of stuff has he done?
Well, he works with the two same lead horses I used last year for Rodrigo and Dr. Davis, Relentless Pursuit and Spanish Grandie. They might not be the greatest racehorses in the world, but they can certainly gallop, especially when he's got to give them sort of 2 stone. And he's been working with a horse that ran yesterday and working well with him, really well.
You can compare him with Rodrigo Dettori.
Well, I can, yes. I remember I said last year that after the Guineas, before he ran at Newbury, Robert Sangster, that I thought he was better than them, but Rodrigo won 5 Group 1 races and Dr. Davis won 3. So it's a hard thing to say, but I really do think he's a serious horse.
So all last year, before his accident, you actually were thinking of him as a top-class horse?
Yeah, I did, yeah, I really did.
And tell us about the accident. How bad a problem did he have?
It was a very bad problem. He ran at Newbury and won very easily. Beat Needle Gun, a horse of Clive. And then we took him back, gave him a canter 2 days later, and he hadn't gone 3 furlongs, and he split his pastern. And he had to have 3 screws in, which obviously he's still got in there now. And he nearly was, well, it was touch and go that he'd ever race again.
And the shape he's in now is no effect of that?
No, I don't think so, no. This is the best this horse has ever been. It really is. But I'm just worried about him being a bit novice-y, that's all.
And what about the phonic? You've seen his form. Do you see any flaws?
It could just be a 2-year-old, I think. But you never know.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Nobody knows about the phonics. We won't know until this afternoon. Were you offered the ride on Channel 1?
No.
No? But looking at
Would
it...
you have taken it?
I said that without moving my lips.
3 hours to go.
Would they pay him enough?
No, I think when we were talking about form earlier, I mean, Leicester made a good point there. I mean, I think what I said about the form of the Craven Stakes is correct, that the form of the race is no good. But as he pointed out, there's some lightly raced horses there that you would expect to improve, possibly Barathea, certainly Chattleworth and Worf, who've been off for a long time. I don't know whether, watching that race, because obviously listening to Peter Chapelheim, it was lack of fitness, whether that horse weakened out because he doesn't really stay, and his entry suggests that they don't know because they've got him in all types of races, or he blew up.
Very good point. I would agree with that. One thing, though, is for certain, he's obviously come on since that run. But what about the winner that day, Emperor Jones? He's trained by John Gosden, who also runs Pembroke in the Guineas this afternoon. His horses are in form, and in the winner's enclosure here yesterday, Bruff asked him about his horse's chances. First, Emperor Jones.
He won the Craven well by a short head. He showed a lot of courage. He's come on for his race. I'm very happy with him. And I think hopefully he'll run a nice race tomorrow.
I mean, can you see past the phonic? Do you see chinks in the phonic's armour?
The only thing is, if the phonic doesn't settle and he pulls, then there's got to be questions about the horse. But if you see him settled early on in the race and going smoothly, you know that he's a different class from his Dewhurst form, and you know that he has the ability just to go by them. But if you take him out as a grab bag of a race, and quite honestly, if you ran it 5 times, you'd probably get 4 different results.
And where would we get Pembroke in if we had a fit?
Well, I ran him a bit far the other day. I'm bringing him back in trip. He's a fitter horse. He's well. He's got a good turn of foot. He worked nicely yesterday. He's happy in himself. So let's hope he runs well.
Can you stick him and Emperor Jones together? Emperor
There's
Jones always
nothing
been
between them. There's not much between them. There really isn't.
So that is the general consensus of opinion. There's not much between them, and if Zephonic is the wonder horse, well, that could be the one. But there's still more trials to look at. The European 3 handicap used to be, I think, a much better trial a few years ago. You're on the 4th horse, Silver Wizard. What's the latest on him?
Well, he ran quite a good race that day. Things didn't go quite as one would have wished, you know, it was a slow pace, and he ran a bit too free, and then a horse got squeezed out in front of me, came back on top of me. So I should have been a bit closer, really. And I think he'll go well today, you know.
He should appreciate the longer trip?
Yes, he should stay all right.
Lester, there's one or two of these running today, I'm including yours, I might be wrong, that might be upset by a parade. How is it your experience that horses their chances do go in a parade, they boil over? And I mean, that French filly the other day looked to get very wound up in beforehand.
Well, they're trying to do away with these parades, you know, and the other day they changed it. You know, we were supposed to walk down and then just canter on down to the post, but they made us come back for some reason or other, which they changed at the last minute. They made us come back like we used to before. But today, you know, they'll probably just walk down and let them go.
So that's not so bad then?
No, it's best, you know.
And I would you, Lester, surely, for the public, tens of thousands will be thronging Newmarket. They want to see you aboard a horse, the horse themselves. Shouldn't there be a parade at least for the classics and the Group 1 races? Surely, for the public to see the horses.
Yes, I agree with that, but I don't think they want to be walking around like they do here. It's not necessary.
But you see, the idea behind the parade is that the people that can't afford to pay to come into the paddock from the Silver Ring see them, but they never walk down as far as the Silver Ring. And I'm sure the people that, you know, that haven't got the money to afford to see them would rather the horses got to one piece sensibly and reasonably settled, rather than stupid having parades.
Yeah, Jimbo, with great respect to the parade, I want to find out what's going to win it, not what's going to look good in the parade.
But yours might lose a chance in the parade.
Oh, exactly. But a horse that I like is Right Win and Revelation, both of them trained by Richard Hannon. I know you fancy Right Win, John, and he won nicely at Kempton last time.
I'll tell you what, I like him. He's a nice big horse. You'd have expected him to have improved throughout the winter, and he couldn't have won easier than he did here at Kempton. The ground, his form says that his better horse was geared underfoot. But, I mean, he's pulled away some 5 or 6 lengths from the second and third horses, Shaver and the horse star manager, Paul Coles. And they didn't run brilliantly, but they certainly haven't disgraced the form, and that horse, I'm sure, has got a bit more improvement in him.
I tell you what, I love Richard Hannon's quote when talking about Right Win in the paper this morning. They're going to blaze a trail, which will mean they're going to test Zephonic stamina to the full. And he says, we intend to die with our boots on. Isn't that lovely? I like. By the way, I heard Revelation beat that in the racecourse gallop, 5 lengths, I suppose.
Just, I was going to ask Lester, how are you going to ride this horse, Silver Wizard, because you're drawn next to Zephonic?
I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. You know, see if there's any pace on.
But I mean, would be in your intention to get him switched off already, because he does buzz a little bit.
Well, it'd be better, yeah. You know, but we don't know whether there'll be any pace or not.
I think there'll be some pace. I think so. But we'll see.
I don't mind if you let Right Wing go 10 lengths.
It'd be good, wouldn't it? Tip.
Can't oppose Zephonic.
Zephonic.
I'm going to stick with Right Wing.
Yeah. Leicester. Wolf, right. And I agree with you. I think Wolf is a good horse. And I think he's a value bet. You fancy Zephonic?
Pat Henry will be amazed here, the great Lester Piggott. He just can't believe it. Could I ask Lester one quick question? A great man on breeding as well, Lester. The sire of Zephonic gone west. People are knocking him because of the sire. Have you any views on that one way or the other? The sire won't be good enough.
No, not really. He was a very good horse. There's nothing wrong with that, you know.
So on the breeding anyway, Zephonic's all right.
Yeah.
I agree with you entirely. Well, the betting, it's interesting to see what a race it will be like without Zephonic. Zephonic will win, of course, but look how William Hill here are betting without the favourite. That's without Zephonic, and what a wide open Guineas it would be. 7-2 Wolf, 5 Barrathea, 11-2 Chatterworth, 7 INCHINOR, and 11-1 Bar the 4. And bookmakers on the course, some bookmakers will be betting without Zephonic. Come racing, you can bet tax-free without Zephonic, forecast everything. The crowds are going to throng to Newmarket. See a great horse. If you will possibly come racing once in your life, come today to Newmarket. Well, let's see how the betting goes now. And these are the best prices in the village. And that even Zephonic is with Pat Densham of Sunderland, and he bets on the rails. Could it be an indication that on the course they will try and get stuff on it? Ladbrokes report they've laid about £25,000 at 5 to 4 on this morning already, though Ladbrokes, of course, not guaranteeing prices. It's then 10 to 1 bar the one, looking round the ring. 12 to 1 Shuttleworth, that is going. So if you want Shuttleworth, take the 12 to 1. It will start in single figures, Shuttleworth. 14 in China and 25 to 1 bar. And I'll give you one horse being really well back today, and there's no doubt about that. It's number 8, Bold Stroke in the 230. Some people have got 9 to 2 and 4 to 1. It's now been shown 3 to 1 and 11 to 4. So Carson and Dunlop, Bold Stroke, that's the steamer in the 230. Already they're going in for that, but of course in China, the people that know are already on.
We've got a non-runner in already. Al-Jazaf in the first does not run. Al-Jazaf does not take on Commander-in-Chief in the 2 o'clock. By the way, a horse, I'm just getting back to the 2,000 guineas. Pettardi, if you're looking for a 66 to 1 shot, works well in break.
125.
125 with you?
No, I think
yeah, sorry.
It is 125.
You fancy that? Could go well under Michael Hill. Now then, we're going to get into the break with the turf trivia. Let's test your racing knowledge. Who was the last person to ride and train winners of the 2,000 guineas? Now, Karen Standen sent this in from Herne Bay in Kent. Can you work that out? Who was the last person to ride and train winners of the 2,000 guineas? You've got 3 minutes to work it out, starting from now.
And now it's racing post time. And what a strong field we've got for you.
Thanks, Bruff, and here they are. Number 1, easy to handle. That's a huge advantage. 2, great for form, a clear favourite now. 3, news and information, always a front runner. 4, CECIL on Saturday, you'll mark your card. 5, sports coverage, terrific value here. And 6, Jockey's Colours, a brilliant newcomer this. What a field, what a paper.
Yes, racing post every day. It's all you need.
Touch it, and you're tempted.
Oh, sorry. Not too late, am I? Indeed you are, Martin.
I'll take it.
What? Oh, dear. Well, you know, it's just what I've been looking for, yes. I have already been to the Alliance in Leicester. So have I, dear boy. What? Took your advice, sorted out a mortgage before I found the flat. You? This is me with Bunny, the mortgage advisor. Mrs. Warren. Whoever lives here has fabulous taste. You see, Martin, you make it all so simple. Hello, ladies! You've been to the Alliance in Leicester. What? You've been to the Alliance in Leicester? Yes. Well, not exactly been. Look, this whole place is crumbling. Oh. Won't mind if I put in an offer, then? Yes. No, Martin, not at all. Go.
Sort out a mortgage before you find a home and be a smarter investor. From Michelin, tyres that allow you to choose the colour of your driving. The Pilot CX for luxury driving. Pilot SX for demanding driving. And Pilot HX for long-distance driving. High-performance tyres for your colour of driving. Michelin Pilot.
Hello? Oh, Alex. I'm at the British Gas Showroom. Yes, there's so much to look at here. Central heating, tumble dryers, lovely fires. I'm looking at a rather attractive cooker at the moment. The sales assistants are amazingly friendly. Come to look round. What now? There's no need. They've got a catalogue. I'll bring one with me. Don't you just love being in control?
For your copy of the gas collection, phone free on 0800 850 900.
Welcome back to the Morning Line, which is live at Newmarket. Have you worked it out? Who was the last person to ride and train winners of the 2000 Guineas? It was, of course, Harry Ragg. Harry Ragg, he rode Garden Path to victory in 44 and trained Darius in 1954. And his son Jeff, of course, trains a Petardia that runs today. Few non-runners in. If you've just joined us, let me bring you up to date with the non-runners so far. Ad Jazaf does not run. Clive Britton's in the first. Resist the Force is out of the Guineas at 3:40. Green Dollar doesn't run in the 4:45. And at Utoxter in the 2:40, number 5 Indian Tonic is also an absentee. Well, Newmarket isn't just a meeting today, as you see, and there are plenty of races today all around the country. Newmarket, Haydock, Thirsk, they're the three on the flat. Over jumps at Hereford and Utoxter this afternoon, and tonight at Hexham.
Well, we get lots of stick for the tips on here, but we can't be blamed for the weather forecast. That comes from other experts, but we're assuring you that it's going to be a wonderful day up and down the country. The only chance of rain at any of the racecourses is apparently at Hexham this evening, so if you're going there, you need a Mac, but it's going to be in the 70s here at Newmarket this afternoon. What about the other courses? Well, we'll begin up at Haydock, and some of you with morning papers might be wondering why we haven't put a non-runner up there, because it's a non-runner at Haydock, or down to non-run, that was Grand Signorum, but in fact it takes part. It was lame yesterday and Paul Cole thought it wouldn't be able to go, but it's sound this morning and definitely runs. First race 1 o'clock, going good.
There's a really good race up at Thirsk for their Hunt Cut. They begin racing at 2:15. Good to firm in the back straight, good generally though, and look out for those roadworks at Easinwold on the A19.
Moving to Hereford, first race 2:20, going good to firm, the odd firm patch. And as you see, apparently, no reported hazards, but it is bank holiday weekend.
And a supercar is jumping up at Utoxter where they get underway at 2:10. And Lord Relic's participation at 3:40 just depends on what Martin Pike thinks of the going. At the moment it's good to firm, good in places, no reported hazard, and there's lots for Martin Pike to look at because Adrian Maguire, Richard Dunwoody, Jamie Osborne and Mark Perrott all in action.
Last but by no means least to Hexham, where the ground has dried up. It's now soft. Remember, they had 2 inches of rain there early in the week, causing an abandonment, but no problems today, and no reported hazards.
If you've got a Channel 4 racing diary, there's Market Raisin for next Saturday evening. It's not next Saturday evening. They've changed it. It's now Friday evening. So if you fancy a day out at Market Raisin, lovely track in Lincolnshire, it's next Friday evening, not Saturday. What have you got a bottle of champagne next to you at this time of the morning?
And it's on the ice. Look at this, all on ice, all ready to celebrate when Symphonic wins. Lovely ice, a real bit of bubbly will go down extraordinarily well as Symphonic goes past the post. And in the racing post here, French favourites arrival likely to be delayed by fog. They're right there. Eddery certain Symphonic will stay. And let's see what Pat Eddery, the former champion jockey, has to say about Symphonic and how certain he is that he will get the trip. The good ground is perfect for Symphonic, and I believe he will stay the mile standing on his head. Frankly, I have no doubts about his stamina. Andre Fabre has worked him since Maison Lafitte last month, and I know they are pleased with him. And his owner, Prince Khalid Abdullah, is also absolutely certain, as he told the Racing Post over the weekend, he cannot see what can beat Symphonic in the Guineas, and he's not a loudmouth, the Prince. He rarely sort of talks like that, and is rarely so confident as that. Now, in the sporting life, there's a cartoon here, and they're really having a go. There's been a complaint, it says, I'm from the Noise Abatement Society, some chap listening to some loudmouth there, and a vitriolic piece from David Ashforth. I must say, I just can't believe people can write like this. It's so tiresome, he says, the way I've been going on, and sad that some people's enjoyment of Symphonic's victory, if he does win, will be spoilt. What nonsense. Symphonic Mimi, give it a rest. Absolutely absurd. I think that some people actually hoping Symphonic will lose, try and make me out to look a bit of a fool. Well, I can't believe that. Now, in The Sun, Claude Duval's been talking to Peter Chappell-Hyde, who says he's not a superphonic, he says, and he goes on about the day that Leicester rode Rodrigo de Triana for him. Leicester had ridden 3 Derby winners before I was born. Before the Guineas, I had to pinch myself to give him orders. He just laughed when I told him to sit in behind on Rodrigo and come with a late run. Lester, what do you do with trainers and owners who try and tell you how to ride in a race?
Well, you've got to listen to them.
Whether you do anything is a different matter. There's a cracking good letter in the Racing Post on the disqualification of Give Us a Buck in the Whitbread and give them the race given to Thompson Bay. And the smaller bookmaker, Manny Bernstein, this company pays if your horse wins and is disqualified, something you don't get at the big three. Shop around. Many independents do pay first past the post and the promoted horse. Well done for them. Also a big race over in America, the Kentucky Derby. They're tipping here, see Hero can become a hero. But the form doesn't look very good. Doesn't look a very, very good Kentucky Derby, but we'll be seeing it with all the atmosphere. Absolutely marvellous. From Kempton on Monday, we'll be showing you my old Kentucky home, and they sing that I Weep every year. In the Daily Sport, they had here hard-up punter Tony Ryan back to loser when he tried to rob his local bookie. He left a betting slip with his name and address on it. So it shows what chance that he had. Riding is just so sexy for a woman. We all agree with that, and so do the men who watch them. And finally, Henry Cecil says here that the three horses he would back would be Wharf, Commander-in-Chief, and his Big Sky in the last race here today. And he goes on to say that we all make mistakes, he and I. And he says, well, I was thinking of asking John McCrick up to Warren Place to ride out so he could see how difficult training is. Then again, I'd have to leg him up. And I rather feel I'd be the loser. And so would be the poor horse if I was sitting on him. Lester, would you reckon that any horse could take me?
A big one.
Bloody big one. Right, let's check out what's coming up on Channel 4 today. It's 5 races that we'll have live for you today, and it's going to be a real good afternoon. If you can join us for that, I hope you will. This is the Classic Channel. But if you fancy having a go at our champion tipster competition, you can win a lot of money. Jim McGrath has details.
Yeah, let's go through what happened last week, where the winner was, with a score of 128 points, Mrs. Anne Brandreth. And her selections were True Hero, Place of Ill, Majority, Ruby Tiger, Bolawado, Topsham Bay, Give Us a Buck, obviously, Eastern Memories and Embankment. And there's the table. She beat Brian Bowen of Swansea by 1 point, with Susan Polly in Ipswich in third. The ladies doing better than the blokes.
Now, if you'd like to enter this afternoon, all you've got to do is ring up and give 3 selections per race. Today's races are the live ones, Channel 4, 2:30, 3, 3:40, 4:15 and 4:45. The points, as you know, are scored according to the starting price. If it's a 10 to 1 second, you get 10 points and so on. And the highest aggregate points total wins. So have a crack. It's good fun. You've got 3 selections per race. Tick them off on the race card, the newspaper, and ring to register your selections 0891 99 1148. And let's check out the races that we'll be seeing on Channel 4 this afternoon. We go live at 2:15. The first race at 2:30. We'll also record the 2 o'clock for you. 3 o'clock, the Philip Corns for the 2-year-olds. Then the 2,000 guineas at 3:40. Then the Palace House, where Paris House runs incidentally. And at 4:45, an equally competitive 6-furlong Ladbroke handicap. That's what's coming up on the Classic Channel this afternoon. Now, birthday greetings to a guy who was here last year, and we all wish he was here this year, but he's in America, he's retired. Steve Corson, 33 today, the former champion jockey, there he is, and we miss him, and he became a dad for the first time this week. It's a shame, 33, you're 57, he packed it up at 33. Hey! He doesn't need the money, does he?
No, but he can always come back if he feels like it.
He can, can't he? Yeah, he's smashing that. I wish he would. Picture puzzle. If you fancy winning £100, all you've got to do is work out this horse that's running today. There it is. No tusks beyond this point, and something about the 2,000 guineas. If you can work that out, dial 0891 99 1144. That's today's classic picture puzzle. It could win you £100. So have a go at that.
So the great thing about the 2,000 guineas is what price will Symphonic start at. I think he will go off at odds on, but come racing to Newmarket, Paddington and Sunderland is going even money. You might even get odds against tax-free. The price about Symphonic, that's the query. Chattleworth, I think, will start in single figures, so 12 to 1 Chattleworth if you fancy that. The steamer of the day, as I said before, 2:30, number 8, Bold Stroke. Any 9 to 2 and 4, you want to take that 3 to 1 and 11 to 4 is the general offer against Bold Stroke. And finally, obviously, the Phonic's going to win, but I think I'm going to tap Leicester. Now, Leicester, you know to be very generous with your money. Will you lend us a tenner that I can go and put on the Phonic? Can you give us a tenner? You must have a tenner on you, Leicester. Come on, he's dying of shock. Somebody's going to borrow money off him. He can't believe it.
Right, 2 days tomorrow for you. One near here, that's John Jenkins' open day. John, who trains at Royston, stables just off the bypass. His open day is from 10:30 to 2:30. There's all sorts of activities. Everybody welcome. And there's also an open day at Epsom. We've got Philip Mitchell, Simon Dow and Joe Norton. They open their stables to the public between 9:30 and noon. That's the stables open, and they close sharp at 12, the stables. However, the fun doesn't stop there, because the Queen's Stand at Epsom opens at 11:30 a.m. and there's all sorts of things. There's jazz, there's a traditional brunch. You've got to book in advance with that, and there's all sorts of personalities turning up, including Richard Dunwoody and Declan Murphy, Desert Orchid and Henry Kelly.
This is the Channel 4 trophy that we bought last year. It's an old racing trophy from the last century, and we asked you to vote for who you thought had done most to achieve, or done most to promote racing and achieved in British racing in 1992. There was an overwhelming response for one man in particular. Guess who? Incredible. Lester, you took about 97% of all the votes. Remarkable. And this is going to be fun. It's solid. There you go. It's the first time we've ever done that, and it's worth about £3,500. So.
Yeah, beautiful. And
so when you melted it down,
I must say thank you to all the people that voted for me.
Well, I tell you what, you can thank one personally, because you know the special offer that we made. One person who did vote, Shirley Best, is here this morning. Shirley, why did you vote for Leicester?
Because I think he's our greatest ambassador for this country. He's been at the top of his tree for 40 years. Even after a break, we came back and he's still at the top of the tree. What more can you say?
Thank you.
That's something. Well done.
Come on, I'm going to say one thing very quickly about Leicester. He's no PR agent. He barely talks to the hacks. He doesn't fawn for favours and try and ingratiate himself. The public loves the man, and the man for what he's done. And there's no PR, no hype for Leicester. It's not needed. Absolutely genuine. Fantastic.
Yeah. He also, what a lot of people doesn't know, he's got an awful lot for charity as well, which I think is actually quite good, but he wouldn't come out and say that. Well, it's been a great morning here on the morning line, but I tell you what, the fog is still bad out here. It is lifting a bit, but remember, the Phonic's plane has been delayed an hour. Now, what about the charity bets? By the way, Mrs. Best, what do you fancy today in the 2000?
Chaddersworth.
Chaddersworth?
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I shall have an each-way bet on Leicester.
So go with it. Likes you, you're in it. Now, charity bets. Who should we go to first? Youngest one, Jimbo.
Paul Cole's 2-year-old, Go Lake.
Right. Jim, John?
Kanaska Star in the last year.
Kanaska Star. Lester, if I give you £25...
Oh, no.
That'll be on
You won't see it.
What would you put it on? What would be your charity bet today?
Oh, Bold Stroke, I think.
Bold Stroke. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Oh, that's the steamer of the day. What does Leicester know? A lot. Leicester knows for the steamer.
Let's just recap the charity bets today. Here they are. Leicester, Bold Stroke. That is the steamer, 2:30 Newmarket. You heard it first, morning live. Next one, Jimbo, Goldland. I can smell the gold. Newmarket, 3 o'clock. Frank's goes Kanaska Star in the 3:15 Newmarket. And there it is, Tomo's. Commander-in-Chief will take the beating in the first here at Newmarket.
Now then, whether or not Commander-in-Chief actually wins the first today, it's no relevance. The fact that his father or sire, Dancing Brave, was the best racehorse I've seen, certainly in the last 10 years since I've been going racing. And we've had a request from Mr. Black from Dundee in Scotland. He says if there's a chance of showing Dancing Brave's win in the 2,000 guineas in 1986, it'd cheer him up. He said he backed it, so Mr. Black, here it is.
The favourite, Dancing Brave in the White Steves, comes with a tremendously powerful run as they go down into the dip. It's Dancing Brave from Green Desert, these ahead of Hail to Roberto, then comes Vainglorious Shroud with the favourite Dancing Brave, strikes the front with Dancing Brave, quickens up in the start of a very good horse in this General Excellence 2000 Guineas. Dancing Brave, careful round, Starkey looks round, no danger, Dancing Brave.
Lester, he's an amazing horse, that. I know you weren't riding at the time, but have you seen any better the last 10 or 15 years?
Yeah, he was a fantastic horse. He went to the season to win the Arc de Triomphe, which so few horses do. Yeah, he was very good.
But I thought that win in the Arc, I mean, actually got stopped a couple of times, even then still came through. I mean, absolutely pulverised him in the last very long.
Yeah, he was a terrific horse.
It would have been better if you'd ridden him.
Yeah. Was it in Japan? Isn't
Japan,
it?
yeah.
Japan. What a, it's sad to export a good horse like that to Japan.
Well, he's only just started to do well this year, really. You know,
Yeah.
Last year and the year before, he didn't have anything.
He wasn't showing through. It always happens, doesn't it? When they export, they always start producing. Hey. Now, just confirming, Resist the Force does not run in the 2000 Guineas, and next week on Channel 4, it's a busy old week. Bank Holiday Monday, we'll be live at Kempton for the Jubilee. Then we go straight up to Chester. 3 glorious days, the Vase, the Chester Cup and the Ormonde. And next Saturday morning, we'll be live with the Morning Line to help you with your enjoyment of the day's racing. Thanks very much, big fella, for coming today, and good luck on the Silver Wizard. And well done, another Silver Wizard for coming in and winning the prize. He'll be a Silver Wizard one day. Anyway, we'll leave you with a picture puzzle, and if you want to see it as a Phonics can win, join us here on the Crappers Channel. Bye-bye.
There is no proven evidence to say that tiger products are aphrodisiacs, but if the slaughter continues, there will be no tigers left in Thailand. Defenders of the Wild investigate tomorrow evening at 7. And at 8, designer Jean Muir shows how her sketches become beautiful dresses. The British legal system comes under scrutiny at 8:30, as the new series, Street Legal, continues to take the lid off law. That's tomorrow evening from 7 on 4.
Soccer in Argentina, rugby sevens in Scotland, cycling in Holland, and lacrosse top the bill in Transworld Sport after the break.
I'll be spending less time on it this year.
Is it something I've said?
No, it's something Black & Decker have done. The new trim and edge has a unique system, Auto Feed Plus. If the cutting line breaks, more line is fed out automatically, trimming the time it takes to trim and edge.
That's better.
Nice one, Speedy.
I need a trim and edge.
The new trim and edge with Auto Feed Plus from Black & Decker.
One of these is a 1959 model Gibson Les Paul Standard in Sunburst. The adjustable tunematic bridge and patent-applied for humbucking pickups make it sound like no other guitar.
Who needs words?
Roundtree's fruit gums. They're very, very fruity.
It's Boney M, the greatest hits album. By the rivers of... The band that took the 70s by storm are back with all their classic hits. Including the smash hit Megamix and the brand new single Brown Girl in the Ring. The greatest and latest hits of Boney M out now.
With Timotei Honey Shampoo, even the weak and fragile can be transformed into an astonishing display that looks full of strength and health. Timotei Honey, suggested by nature, perfected by Timotei.
You can't beat do-it-all for garden furniture this spring. These 10-piece garden party sets are £87.20 for this weekend only. These 5-piece garden sets are just £27.95, and parasol sets with matching seat pads are only £29.99.
You could get these hardwood steamer chairs for just £169. Paradise 7-position relaxers are only £29.99. And in most newspapers, there's a voucher worth £5 off for every £30 you spend. Do it all. Better products, better prices.
One of these men is wearing sunglasses by Varney. Each lens is ground, polished, then thermally toughened. Patented amber lenses provide optimum clarity in all light conditions, and Varney's mirror filters protect against the strongest glare. The other pair doesn't even get a look in. Export from Carlsberg, for those who know the difference.
Texas, where football is not just a sport, it's a religion. For 29 years, Tom Landry was head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
He was John Wayne, he was Charlton Heston, bigger than Billy Graham, any president. I think at his height, Tom Landry was above all those people.
Fields of Blood tells Landry's story and follows the new owners as they ready the Cowboys for the new season. Naked Sport, Monday at 9 on Channel 4.
The Sport of Kings now at Newmarket with Bruff Scott.
This was the moment when the world first noticed Symphonic, when a lot of us first thought we were on to something good. 7 long months since that brilliant win at Longchamp, Symphonic finally arrives at Newmarket on 2,000 Guineas Day. His flight from Paris was delayed by fog, and when he eventually followed his stable companion d'Auberville towards the racecourse stables just 3 hours ago, there was no doubt that the favourite was already perilously close to boiling point. In every sense, this for Symphonic is the moment of truth. The day when questions about his untested stamina and his unsatisfactory comeback have to be answered on the track. The day when talking will not be enough. Mind you, the words have been strong right up to the end. Yes, the 2,000 guineas, a lot more than a one-horse race, and this is much more than a one-race day. It is the classic Saturday at Newmarket. And a warm afternoon now, the going officially good, and for a huge crowd who've come to this Rolling Mile, we've got the first action on at 2:30, the Mayor Paris Stakes, 12 go over a mile and a quarter, 11 in the Philip Corns for 2-year-olds, plenty of tips there, but only 2 have run before, 14 go in the 2,000, now that Resist the Force is out, 3:40 the off time, but you can feel the tension building here already. At 4:15, the sprinters take the stage, 16 of them in the Palace House Stakes, including Symphonic's stable companion d'Auberville from France, who you saw there, and the splendidly named Up and Atom from Ireland. That's over 5 furlongs. We move up to 6 for our final race, the Ladbrokes Handicap. Green Dollar is out of this, but it still leaves us 17 runners to puzzle over. Green Dollar, one of 4 non-runners on today's card. Al Jassaf was out of the first race. We'll show you recorded in a minute. At 3:40, Resist the Force out of the Guineas. At 4:15, Briggs Fair out of that, and as we said, Green Dollar out of the 4:45.
Now think of that Coral Punter in Southampton. Last September he had a £5,000 double, tax paid on. Say a Daffy for the 1,000 guineas, she's won. He got 11 to 1, and Symphonic at 9 to 2 for the 2,000 guineas. He stands to win £330,000. He's a fishmonger, the chap. He's out for the biggest catch of his life. Now, the betting shops report that Zaphonic is going to be a big winner for them. The public have turned against the horse. They're not backing it off course, and it's even money here on the track. The two worst in the betting shops will be Chadleworth, who's been back from 12 to 1 down to 8 to 1, and Lester Piggott on the morning line this morning with Silver Wizard. That will be the worst result of all for the betting shop. But let's see how they're betting on the course for the 2,000 guineas. It is even money favourite, Zaphonic, and they're hawking it right round the track. I've never seen such big crowds here in many a year. Huge crowds come to see Zaphonic, but he's even money. It's 7 bars, that's Wharf. He's also owned by Khalid Abdallah. Ditch by Pat Edery. 8 to 1 against Chadleworth. It's then 10 to 1 Barathea, 14 to 1 Inchinor, then 20 to 1 against Emperor Jones, Pembroke and Right Win, and 25 to 1 Ivory Frontier and Lester Piggott Silver Wizard. But the public, they have not gone for Zaphonic. They're against the horse. It is the professionals who are on it. Will it go odds on? Will the officers come in to back it late? The feeling is the SP will be odds on. Come racing, no tax, even money, levels you devils, the great Zaphonic.
Plenty of classic horses on display today, but I'm not talking 2,000 guineas, I'm talking Derby. Because in the first race this afternoon, the Culford Condition Stakes, we had the third favourite for the Derby in the shape of Commander-in-Chief. He looked pretty good here 2 weeks ago, but the field was reduced to 5 because Al Jassaf was an absentee. There was another Derby entry in the shape of Blue Judge, and there was an Irish horse as well, but the one the punters latched onto in a major way was this one. Commander-in-Chief, son of the 1986 2,000 guineas winner Dancing Brave. He's a half-brother to that top-class miler Warning, and he'd made a very impressive debut here 2 weeks ago. But he had to win this to confirm his position as a leading Derby contender. Before we see the race, here's how they bet at the off. JT.
Thank you, Derek. And Commander-in-Chief was the 5 to 2 on favourite from 3 to 1 on. Blue Judge 9 to 2, Oakmead a 10 to 1 chance, Firm but Fair on 20s, and Nico Mike 50 to 1.
So the trip's a mile and a half, and the odds-on favourite Commander-in-Chief is setting the pace. On the outside of the right, Blue Judge in the blue colours. Spotted colours the rail, that's Oakmead. And the pale colours of the blue sleeves and blue cap, Firm but Fair. And the early trailer is Nico Mike. They go to the first furlong, and it's Blue Judge now that takes them along. Blue Judge under Christy Roach by a length and a half to 2. To Commander-in-Chief in second, and then showing third is Oakmead. He's followed by Firm but Fair, and as they start to turn into the home straight, and at the top of the home run now, Nico Mike, the back marker. It's Blue Judge clear by 3 to Commander-in-Chief in second, 2.5 back to Oakmead in third, a length back to Firm but Fair, and then comes Nico Mike. And it's Blue Judge, Christy Roach striding on, 2 or 3 lengths clear of Commander-in-Chief after him in second, and they're 3 clear of Oakmead in third. Firm but Fair and Nico Mike still the tail end Charlies. In Indian file then as they make their way for home, come down past the 7, and it's Blue Judge, Commander-in-Chief in second place, 2 lengths back to Oakmead in third. And the favourite, Commander-in-Chief, Pat Edery, just asking him to stretch to get a little bit closer, but he's reining the front one in now. And it's Blue Judge still leading from Commander-in-Chief in second, and they've pulled 4 or 5 clear of Oakmead in third, and then Firm but Fair and Nico Mike, the yellow colours on the right of the pack. And they come down past the 4 furlong marker. It's still Blue Judge leading, but here comes Commander-in-Chief, the pink cap the outside. 2 lengths back then to Oakmead, who's just being pushed along, and the other 2 are as well. But now Commander-in-Chief, as they come down to the 3 marker, has come to join Blue Judge, or just be within half a length of him. He's certainly going the better at this stage, but they've still got 2.5 furlongs to go. 3 lengths back then to Oakmead, and the others seem out of it as they come down past the bushes, past the 2. And it's Commander-in-Chief, the pink cap, blue cap the rail, Blue Judge, and Commander-in-Chief lengthens and goes on now. Blue Judge, pacemaker, drops away quite tamely. Off the back, Oakmead starts to stay on, Firm but Fair, and looking back, Nico Mike is tailed off, but they're inside the final furlong, and Commander-in-Chief with Pat Edery looking round, 4-5 clear over Oakmead at the line. A workmanlike performance this for Commander-in-Chief. Commander-in-Chief is the winner, Oakmead second and Blue Judge third.
I thought that was a smashing performance. Mind you, I suppose Henry says that he hadn't won that impressively. There'd have been something wrong.
I think so. I expect him to win easily. But he's very laid back, and we're very easy on him. The ground's getting firmer, faster. And I think if you really picked him up, I mean, I think he would obviously be much more impressive, but I mean, he's pretty good, potentially.
It proved that he can stay the mile and a half, because the half brother to Warning, although he's by anti-break, there was just a little bit of a doubt on the breeding side.
And he'll get that well. I think he's just a big baby. He wasn't trained last year, and he's improving, and this is education.
It was.
I think, he's got a lot in the tank.
I think so, and looking at it now, in the closing stages, Pat sort of did ride him up, but he didn't really pick him up, did he?
No, he didn't. He just laid, just to keep him going, but I mean, he didn't pick him up. I think if he picked him up, there would have been a little bit more there.
I know you're very keen on this horse. I mean, how do you think if he does go to Epsom? I mean, it's less than 5 weeks away. How will he come down the hill?
I think he's very well balanced, but I mean, we'll just have to see. There's a long way to go. I mean, he's going to run at York, the Glasgow, because he needs experience. He never ran last year, and it's not the greatest sort of thing for a Derby horse, to never run as a two-year-old. Of course, Tenby will run again, and of course, Armiger runs at Chester. Then Fitzcarraldo Abdallah, I mean, it's up to him. He'll make a decision of what goes well.
It is incredible. He's got the three leading favourites for the Derby. At this stage, I know it's very difficult, but at this stage, which of those three would you be looking to?
No, I wouldn't say it.
You wouldn't?
No.
You're going to wait, let the horses do the talking?
I think so.
Yeah. What about Armiger, by the way? How is he for Tuesday?
He's very lazy. He's coming on quite well. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope he'll just have done enough to get away with it at Chester.
Yeah.
But I mean, a race will just put him right.
Well, that was a good performance here. Look forward to seeing you on Tuesday at Chester. Well done in the first.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Here's the SP.
First, number 2, Commander-in-Chief, the 5-2 on favourite. Second, number 6, Egmead at 10-1. And third, number 1, Blue Judge at 9-2. The tape paid 130 for the win. The places 110 and 190. The dual forecast came to £2.90, and the completed straight forecast paid £4.25. Non-runner 3 and 5 rounds.
Well, Khaled Abdallah and Henry Cecil appear to have a lock on the ever-ready Derby. The best price now, Commander-in-Chief, that's 8-1 with Ladbrokes. They make Tenby the 3-1 favourite with 8-1 against Armiger. But you can get 4-1 Tenby with Hills and Corals, shorter price against Commander-in-Chief. Teos is 12-1, that's for John Golston, and it's 20-1 bar 4 for the ever-ready Derby. And the Energizer Oaks, possible there, Oakmead, but in 25-1 for the Energizer Oaks. Now, on the morning line this morning, we told you the steamer of the day, number 8, Bold Stroke. One or two punters got 9-2 this morning, 3-1 into 5-2. It's now a 2-1 chance here on the course, Bold Stroke number 8. It's then 6-1 bar Unforgiving Minute and Knock, and 10-1 bar 3, bringing in Christian Stad. But this Bold Stroke, tipped by Lester Piggott, that was his charity bet on the morning line. You were steaming in for it so early. A really heavily backed favourite this. Buckle, 2-1. The good old steamer, Bold Stroke, tipped by Lester.
Only a star on the morning line, quite lit up the show, I thought, and as always, stole it from supposed pros. But the picture puzzle, even he can't get the picture puzzle every time. The computer has to decide, but you first of all have to try and get it right. It's not always the most absolutely devastating Einstein puzzle, but there you are. This is a horse, let's go through the old rigmarole, running somewhere today. Can you work it out? If you think you can, running somewhere today. No Tusby on this point, 2,000 guineas. Well, there's enough clues, I think. Anyway, run somewhere today. Ring 0891 99 1144. That's 0891 99 1144. 3 £100 winners will be announced before the end of the show. Let's hope you'll be there to share it. And news on a busy racing afternoon, news from around the country.
Starting at Haydock with the 1 o'clock race, won by number 3, Gissan, 7-4 favourite. Second, number 4, Licorne, 5-2. And third, number 7, Tardid at 7-1, 7 rounds. The Haydock 130, the winner here was number 1, Palace Gate Episode, the 6-5 on favourite, and that beat number 2, Night Melody at even money, and 2 rounds. The 2 o'clock was won by number 3, Little Bean, 9-4 favourite. Second, number 7, Beware of Agents, 12-1. And third, number 2, Paternoster, 7-2, 7 rounds. At Thursday, 2:15 went to number 13, Cumbrian Rhapsody at 40-1. Second, number 14, Point the Way, 7-4 favourite. And third, number 11, Kisal at 8-1, 14 rounds. At Utoxeter, or Ucheter, as it's known to the locals, the 2:10 race went to number 3, Briggs Lad at 92. Second, number 1, Home Counties, 15-8 on favourite. And third, number 6, Rich Desire at 13-2. Non-runners, number 3 and 5 and 4 rounds.
And so our first live action here at Newmarket, the Mayor Para rated stakes. One of those races that got rather controversial, and they have tended to be rather less competitive than before, but this, you can't complain. 12 runners here, 12 pretty tightly handicapped runners too. Those 9,900 to the winner, a mile and a quarter. And one horse, I am reliably informed, but not yet seen, been walked all the way around. Well, that's old Pelorus, who you probably know has a very definite mind of his own. Mind you, so would you have if you were owned by assorted hacks like Jeff Lester of the Sporting Life, George Jenner of the Racing Post, and Jim McGrath of the Telegraph. But he has always had a mind of his own, to be fair, and he's certainly exercising his right. But he comes back a lot quicker than that, but as you probably know, sometimes he declines to go anywhere very much. And he was taken all the way to Hong Kong 2 years ago, which is quite funny. He refused to take part there, which is, I thought, exercising his right of silence to, well, extreme lengths. Anyway, 12 runners, mile and a quarter here. Let's have the full list from Graham.
Pelorus' trainer, Delwood Ellis, has the top weight as well. Cristado, ridden by John Williams. Number 2, Jim Crack Premier, Blinkard, the man of George Duffield. Number 3, Christian Stad, ridden by Michael Roberts. 4, Muhaya, Walter Swinburne. 5, Unforgiving Minute, Pat Edery. Number 6, Knock Knock, Ray Cochrane. And number 7 is Welsh Mill, ridden by Alan Munro. 8, Bold Stroke, the well-backed horse, partnered by Willie Carson. Number 9 is Young Freeman, Blinkard for the first time today under Michael Hills. Number 10 is Tanos, went to post early, Darrell Holland. Got there safely, number 11, Barford Lad, Frankie Dettori, and completing the lineup, probably going to delay the start, number 12, Pelorus, ridden by David Harrison, who claims a £3 allowance. Let's see how the market trades.
Bold Stroke is the 9-4 favourite from 2 to 1. Unforgiving Minute is 11 to 2 from 5s. And Knock Knock, another 11 to 2 chance, this time back from 6 to 1. Jim Crack Premier is 12 to 1 from 10. And Christian Stad, another 12 to 1 trot, along with Welsh Mill, and it goes 16 to 1 Bardos.
On this classic day, hazy too. Oh, Pelorus looks terrific. He's actually pulling. A bit of an effort. Let's see how hard Frank and Oaksy are pulling up in the commentary box.
Well, it's nice to see David Harrison has got Pelorus underway, and he'll be with them any moment now. He's won 5 of his 31 races, so who knows? He still gives his journalistic owners a tremendous lot of fun. But there's the favourite, Willie Carson, on Bold Stroke. I should think it's probably the first time Willie's ridden one of Lester Piggott's selections. And the reason for that is Bold Stroke's previous good form, and particularly his only run this season. He was 6th to Lockie and was given a very easy time when he got tired, and clearly couldn't win, but ran really promisingly.
He's a good-looking horse, this. Got plenty of size and scope about him. Showed good form when he chased home Duke of Eurolink in his last run last season. He's a horse who looks to be improving all the time, and from what we've seen, looks like a worthy favourite. Probably see him being settled in. Let's have a look at Knock Knock. Ian Baldwin as well to keep these older horses on. They go 8 years old now. Knock Knock, Song of Sixpence ran yesterday. He's 9, and the real mile and a quarter specialist. This one ran behind Lucky Guest, another one of John Dunlop's horses. Last time out at Kempton, that wasn't a bad run at all, and had Pelorus behind him on that occasion.
Was too soft for him that day, John, I think, really. These are the ideal knock-knock conditions today. Fast ground is what he likes, and the good gallop and the come from behind. Well, I'm not sure about the good gallop, but I should think they'd go a fair pace today, and Ray Cochrane ought to have every chance of